Among the most radical and tormented visionaries of 20th century theater, Antonin Artaud stands as a prophet of upheaval whose incendiary writings and performances sought to shatter the complacency of Western drama and restore its primal, metaphysical power. Poet, actor, theorist, drug addict, and involuntary psychiatric patient, Artaud spent much of his life in poverty, exile, and institutions, his body and mind ravaged by opium withdrawal, electroshock, and what was likely bipolar disorder or schizophrenia. His brief, explosive career produced manifestos, poems, essays, and a handful of theatrical experiments. Yet it is his theoretical masterwork, The Theater and Its Double, a collection of essays written primarily between 1931 and 1936, published in 1938, that is universally regarded as his greatest achievement. A revolutionary manifesto that redefined the possibilities of performance and continues to electrify avant-garde theater worldwide. The Theater and Its Double is not a systematic treatise, but a series of visionary proclamations, letters, and polemics united by Artaud's demand for a theater of cruelty, a term he coined to describe an assaultive, non-verbal spectacle designed to shock spectators out of intellectual passivity and into visceral confrontation with existence itself. Rejecting the text-dominated psychological realism of European drama, which he dismissed as a bourgeois masterpiece of culinary theater, Artaud called for a return to theater's ancient ritualistic origins, a total art form incorporating incantatory sound, gesture, light, movement, and spatial dynamics to bypass rational understanding and strike directly at the nervous system. Influenced by Balinese dance, plague metaphors, and occult traditions, he envisioned performances as metaphysical events capable of liberating repressed energies and purging society of its civilized repressions. The collection's most celebrated essays, The Theater and the Plague, On the Balinese Theater, and the two manifestos for the Theater of Cruelty, pulse with apocalyptic fervor. In The Theater and the Plague, Artaud equates theatrical impact with epidemic contagion. Both dissolve social order, expose hidden truths, and force humanity to confront its mortality. Theater, like plague, must awaken the dormant muscles of the soul through physical extremity, rejecting dialogue in favor of a language of screams, cries, and hieroglyphic gestures. His descriptions of Balinese performance, seen at the 1931 Colonial Exposition in Paris, evoke a hypnotic choreography of precise movements and sonic vibrations that function as animated hieroglyphs, offering a model for the non-representational, metaphysical stage he sought. What elevates the theater and its double to unparalleled status is the sheer force of its poetic rage and prophetic clarity. Artaud's prose, hallucinatory, rhythmic, incantatory, enacts the very disruption it demands, shattering syntax and logic to mirror the chaos it wishes to unleash. Written during years of deepening mental crisis and heroin addiction, the essays bear the imprint of personal torment. Artaud saw cruelty not as sadism, but as rigorous necessity, a surgical violence required to strip away illusion and reconnect humanity with cosmic forces. His vision was inseparable from his suffering. Institutionalized shortly after publication, he endured 9 years in asylums, including the infamous Rodez, where he received over 50 electroshock treatments, yet fragments of his ideas survived in letters and drawings that reaffirmed his faith in theater's redemptive power. Though Artaud directed only one full production under the Theater of Cruelty banner, his 1935 adaptation of the Sensi, which closed after 17 performances, the Theater and Its Double exerted profound posthumous influence. Directors from Jean-Louis Bordo and Peter Brook to Jerzy Grotowski, Tadeusz Kantor, and the Living Theater drew inspiration from its call for physical intensity and ritualistic presence. Contemporary performance art, happenings, and immersive theater owe debts to Artaud's rejection of representation in favor of direct bodily encounter. His ideas also resonated in film, Buñuel, Dreyer, dance, Pina Bausch, and music, from experimental noise to industrial. The theater and its double endures not as a practical blueprint. Artaud himself admitted its impossibility in existing conditions, but as a permanent detonation within theatrical thought. It remains the most radical demand ever made upon the stage, that performance cease being entertainment and become a dangerous act of revelation, capable of transforming both actor and spectator through shared exposure to the intolerable. In its fusion of poetic ecstasy, metaphysical ambition, and unrelenting critique, the theater and its double stands as Antonin Artaud's supreme testament, a work forged in the crucible of personal anguish that continues to burn through the complacencies of art and consciousness alike. Antonin Artaud, a French dramatist, poet, and essayist, is one of the towering figures in the landscape of modern theater. Known for his concept of the theater of cruelty, Artaud's work challenged the boundaries of conventional theater and sought to explore the deeper realms of human psychology and existence. His philosophy not only radicalized performance art, but also paved the way for subsequent avant-garde movements. This essay aims to argue that Artaud's contributions to theater, particularly his ideas surrounding the theater of cruelty, remain deeply relevant today, as they provide a profound critique of societal norms, a renewal of the theatrical experience, and an enduring influence on modern dramatists and performance artists. To fully appreciate Artaud's legacy, it is crucial to comprehend what he meant by the theater of cruelty. Artaud introduced this term in his manifesto, The Theater and Its Double, published in 1938. In this manifesto, he insisted that theater should transcend mere representation and elevate itself to a visceral experience with an impactful engagement with the audience. Artaud's own experiences in asylums informed his understanding of human suffering. He believed that traditional narrative-style theater failed to capture the depth and complexity of human emotions, instead favoring a blend of spectacle, sound, movement, and visceral imagery that directly appealed to the senses. In essence, the theater of cruelty was designed to provoke a cathartic response, exposing the audience to the horrors, absurdities, and savage beauties of human nature. One of Artaud's most significant contributions to theater lies in his critique of societal norms. In an increasingly conformist society, Artaud sought to shake audiences from their complacency, urging them to confront uncomfortable truths. By presenting raw emotions and unfettered reality, he challenged audiences to confront their own societal conditioning and moral complacency. This confrontation serves as a form of catharsis, whereby spectators are compelled to examine their own lives and beliefs. In contemporary times, this critique remains strikingly relevant. The complexities of modern life, with its anxieties and contradictions, often lead to a detachment from our most visceral emotions. Social commentary in theater today is often met with either superficial entertainment or regurgitation of existing narratives. Artaud's Theater of Cruelty, by contrast, presents an alternative method through which theater can address the spectrum of human experience, forcing audiences to reassess their own realities, even amidst achieving moments of comfort amidst chaos. By advocating for an immersive rather than complacent theatrical experience, Artaud's ideas incite essential conversations, challenging audiences to emerge from their passive consumption of art into an active engagement with their surroundings. Artaud also revolutionized the theatrical experience by advocating for a sensory approach that goes beyond the written word. Traditional theater often relies heavily on dialogue to convey meaning. However, Artaud maintained that the use of sound, movement, and visual spectacle could evoke emotions more powerfully than mere words ever could. This reimagining of performance offered a new vocabulary for expressing the inexpressible, the marrow of human experience through a tapestry of sensory input. In his vision, silence and noise, light and darkness, and movement and stillness intertwine to create a compelling theatrical work. Artaud's staging techniques, which incorporated unnerving soundscapes and astonishing visual elements, foreshadowed many avant-garde movements that would emerge in the latter half of the 20th century, including the works of directors like Peter Brook and companies like the Living Theatre. This sensory-focused approach to theater has had lasting implications. Artists today continue to explore and expand upon Artaud's principles through multimedia installations, immersive theater, and cross-disciplinary collaborations. In an age where audiences are bombarded with stimuli, Artaud's emphasis on the engagement of the senses remains crucial, offering a unique avenue to revitalize the theatrical experience and delve into the complexities of the human psyche. For all its revolutionary aspects, the impact of Artaud's theater of cruelty is not limited to aesthetic considerations. It has reverberated throughout a plethora of subsequent theatrical practices. From the absurdist works of Samuel Beckett to the fragmented narrative styles of contemporary playwrights such as Sarah Kane, Artaud's ideas about the primal essence of theater have left an indelible mark. In Beckett's Waiting for Godot, for instance, the absurdity of existence is portrayed through minimalist settings and existential dialogue, encapsulating a sense of cruelty and desperation that resonates with Artaud's intentions. Similarly, the raw emotional intensity present in Kane's plays can be viewed as an embodiment of Artaud's manifesto. Kane's unflinching examinations of personal suffering, trauma, and societal failures mirror Artaud's declarations that theater should serve as a reflection of the stark realities of human existence. Moreover, the influence of Artaud extends beyond the written word into contemporary performance art, where artists often embrace elements of the grotesque and the absurd as a means of critiquing societal norms and stimulating viewer reactions. The emergence of immersive theater experiences that prioritize audience participation and visceral engagement further solidifies Artaud's recognition as a precursor to contemporary experimentation in theater. Despite his profound influence, Artaud's ideas have faced criticism and misinterpretation over the years. The notion of cruelty at times has been misconstrued as advocating violence or abusive practices within theater. However, a closer examination reveals that Artaud did not endorse literal cruelty. Rather, he sought to ignite the audience's awareness of the cruelty inherent in the human condition, the absurdity of existence. He wished to unearth the raw, untouched elements of humanity buried beneath the facade of societal niceties. Furthermore, while the theater of cruelty advocates for a break from conventional narrative structures, it is essential to note that this doesn't mean an absence of narrative or character. Artaud believed in the power of archetypes and myth as vehicles for expressing universal human truths. His work encourages a return to the primal elements of storytelling rather than a rejection of narrative entirely. The misunderstanding of these elements risks diluting Artaud's original intent and undermining the transformative power of his theater. Antonin Artaud's theater of cruelty remains a pivotal touchstone in the evolution of modern theater. His radical rethinking of performance art, insistent engagement with the grotesque and absurd aspects of human existence, and profound critique of societal norms create a resonance that remains remarkably relevant today. By encouraging active participation and a raw exploration of emotion, Artaud's ideas challenge the complacency of audiences while rejuvenating the theatrical experience. The legacy of Artaud can be felt not only in the works of contemporary playwrights and performance artists, but also in the ways society grapples with complex issues surrounding existence, identity, and emotion. As we navigate the intricate landscape of the modern world, Artaud's call for a theater rooted in the unflinching exploration of human experience serves as a vital reminder of the essential role of art in provoking thought, eliciting emotion, and ultimately, fostering empathy. In the realm of theater and beyond, Artaud's work will continue to inspire and challenge, illuminating the shadows of the human condition through the enduring power of performance.